only text.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah.
I'm trying to read. I see the word free all over the place.
Yeah, this is Turning Point USA, so we're a conservative club on campus.
Okay.
Freedom of speech, Constitution.
Yeah, voting is just dumb.
Well, I'm saying you want to vote on this poll.
Oh, that was about voting. I don't vote anymore. Oh, here we go.
It's a public opinion survey.
It's a what?
Public opinion survey.
Wait, so we're all the libtards.
We haven't had any yet. Well, they've
Not
been walking by us taking pictures of us, but nobody wants to actually come.
Oh, that's right. Whenever there's a speaker over here, they all avoid him because they don't want to participate because the left can't have conversations.
Right.
But I'm not right either. I'm not right or left.
Yeah. You're a radical centrist.
I'm a apolitical, I guess, centrist, whatever you call them. I have no idea.
A radical centrist?
I don't know what radical. What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
Radical.
80s stuff. Yeah. Yeah. This, you know, I'm like university's full of these guys. I'm actually thought about getting a loudspeaker and replacing that dude, and talking about how men can never become women and stuff like that, and just see what kind of people I
I'd
attract.
support you. I'd come out. I'd get right behind you.
Do you think I would get much hate? Because someone says, "Oh, you're brave." I'm like, how is it brave just by stating facts? Like, I don't understand.
No, I don't think anybody would do anything. I think you'd have some dirty looks.
Yeah.
And some mean comments.
Yeah,
but-
maybe a few birdies.
So they refuse to come over. That's interesting. Actually, that's expected, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an atheist like most of those libtards, but I'm pro-gun. I'm for common sense. I'm who people should be. No one should join a group or religion, because what you're doing is you're outsourcing your thinking to someone else, and you're telling them, "Hey, I don't know how to arrive at a conclusion. Can you please do it for me?" Like, I just don't see this point in joining any kind of group or anything like that. You know.
Feel free to also throw one of the balls into the net.
See how fast.
Like, I'd be for a group that's all about truth, and you know.
But today's day and age, it's more about
Right, like even your little group here is a right wing one, and it's probably religious based. So anyone who's in your group is most likely going to be religious.
You can participate.
You know, and that itself is a group you're tied to. And
biological men should be able to.
you know why I don't. You know, I love reality, and I don't want to ever dip any God into it.
Okay, yeah, you should.
They're just
Here, let me
make
turn it
believe.
on.
You know, why allow
Let's
anything
get
in your
you
life
a,
that's not
what do you
true?
think? You think biological men should be able to compete in women's sports? All right, well, I'll put you down right here.
She wasn't very vocal about it. She's like, I don't want to get jumped.
Right around here.
happens in some campuses. It really does.
Hey, what?
Just don't
So people do get jumped in some campuses.
Oh, really? I don't think I'd ever get jumped.
try to go a little lower.
Were you trying to hit over?
No.
She means if you do underhand. If you do underhand, you should do that. If overhand, then you should go straight for it.
Here, try one more time.
You gotta go straight for it, overhand, underhand, higher.
Like throw it. Try to throw it like right here. Okay.
Have you talked to the Department of Religion?
The what?
Oh, it's right there.
If I talk to what?
The Department of Religion table that's out there?
Where? Right? Where?
It was good.
That
though.
one right there?
It's hard. You'd be surprised.
What are they shoveling?
In the weeds back there. Yeah.
Kind of religion on
Do you have you heard of Turning Point USA? That's our club, our little group. Yeah, we do like activism events like this all the time, but our main shtick is that we're just like free speech, like First Amendment, Second Amendment, conservative group on campus. But I'd love to like send you an invite to our next chapter meeting if you're interested.
Yeah, I hate how the left tries to shut down communication whenever we try to talk about anything.
Yeah, no, they really do. And
Like, they won't come over and answer, and they won't. Like, they think that they're exercising power by not voicing their opinion right here.
Well, and I'll tell you this too: the true exercise of power is found often from the
frustration in college campuses that make it really hard for chapters like this to host events. Like they won't let them rent out.
Oh, yeah. They try to do everything they can to keep you. Now, I just think it should say, should men be allowed to compete?
Yeah.
I don't like that we have to use the word biological, right? Because a man is biological.
Well, I would agree with you on if everyone thought, critically.
Yeah.
But
do you think critically? But you're religious? So do you really think critically?
Yeah, I believe so.
Then why are you religious then?
You think that all of this was... You believe in the Big Bang Theory? Is that what it is? Or
you don't have to believe in anything. You just have to have reason to believe in anything someone tells you, right? So if you don't want to believe in the Big Bang, then you don't have to. It's like the Big Bang is just something we theorize based on evidence we have, like the redshift and stuff like that. Okay. But I think there's a lot about it we don't know, so I'm not going to go ahead and say, yeah, I believe in the Big Bang. I think everything started at a point. Like, I don't know. We don't really know. It's a theory. Yeah. It could be wrong. I'm okay with saying I don't know. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying I don't know.
But then,
something I struggle with sometimes as well. I'm going to say I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay to say I don't know, but then the religious people are like, well, I do know, but they don't, right?
Well, what's the proof or the evidence that you and I are like standing here having this conversation? It's not all just some bad dream that you're having.
Well, if you go that route, then you're questioning everything, and you can believe in anything. I might as well believe in Tinkerbell or Spider-Man, right?
How do you know they're not real?
Exactly. Anything could be real. But I care about the truth, so I'm not going to...
I care about the truth, too.
Okay,
but I'm telling you there is evidence.
Of what?
We know for a fact that Jesus Christ lived on this earth and walked this earth.
How much do you think that?
There's historical data that he
was
a real person.
Where? Written when?
This earth.
Written when?
What do you mean written when?
Written
0 to 33
just 20 to 30 years after he died.
Yeah. Stuff written well after his existence.
Eyewitnesses.
No. You can't say eyewitnesses because they were well after he existed.
But they were alive. They were there.
We don't know that.
We do know.
We don't know that because this was written well after he... No one alive during Jesus' time ever wrote about him. Everything was written well after the fact. In fact, early Christians didn't even believe in Jesus.
The people that wrote about him were alive and met him and knew him and had conversations with him.
Josephus wasn't even born until like 31 or 33 AD.
Yeah, and honestly, my same question. How do you know that Abraham Lincoln's real then? How do you know that everything...
Well, now you're just trying to question everything to make your idea fit of whatever it is you believe in.
Well, because I'm saying that there is evidence that Jesus Christ was, at the minimum, okay, we won't get into he was the Messiah, he was the Son of God. But Jesus of Nazareth was a real person that walked the earth.
I see no reason to think that. Just because we have stories people wrote way after the fact, I don't think that's good enough.
Okay, but isn't the evidence that Abraham Lincoln is real? Aren't they just
We're talking about Jesus, not a president. I understand all the points being made. We're talking about certain topics.
But it's the same thing. I'm saying there is evidence that Jesus Christ
I know you are.
And that he was a real person.
But we don't have that.
Just like
we don't have any good evidence.
Yes, we do. Just like there's good evidence that Abraham Lincoln
was a real
person that walked around this earth.
We're talking about Jesus, though.
But I'm saying it's the same concept. It's the same thing.
Yeah, no, we have lots of more stuff to show Lincoln existed than Jesus.
You're choosing to believe that evidence isn't real or that it's just fake
evidence. I'm sure the stories after the fact are real. I mean, we have them. But we have nothing contemporary written during his lifetime. So because of that, the whole thing is in question.
People didn't write as much during that time.
Yeah, well... That's a problem then, is it? Then why worry about whether he existed or not if we don't really know?
I don't think we're worried about it. I think it goes back to faith.
Well, she's like, absolutely existed, but we have nothing to show he did, so what does it matter?
The Romans documented the crucifixion
after the fact.
Pontius Pilate documented
Pilate was not alive during Jesus' supposed lifetime.
That happened on that day.
Tacitus was just repeating the then believed stories of Roman times.
I'm not sitting here trying to argue with you that he's the Messiah. Obviously, I believe that, but I'm not trying. All I'm trying to say is that Jesus of Nazareth was a real person that walked this earth.
Nothing to go by for that.
Well, see, you're saying that. I could say, well, there's no evidence that Abraham Lincoln, since we're using him
we have more evidence of Lincoln than we do for Jesus.
We have more evidence of Abraham Lincoln than we do Christopher Columbus. I mean, how far back do you want to go?
Okay.
We have evidence of King Henry in England.
So why would you assume Jesus existed just because of some stories after the fact? Why would you make that leap? Why is it necessary for you to do that?
They're eyewitness accounts.
No, you say they're eyewitness, but you don't know they're eyewitness. The stories say they are eyewitness.
We don't know any stories in historical data are true.
Why are you so ready to say he's eyewitness if you don't know he's eyewitness?
Why do we know or believe in anything if we haven't experienced it ourselves?
by going by what supports his existence, the degree of truth by which it shows. Truth is a degree to which a statement corresponds to reality. If a statement Jesus existed, if we want it to correspond with reality, we have to say, well, what do we have to go by? Well, we just have stories after the fact where lots of people want him to exist, so they write stories about him, about his life.
But there's lots of...
But Jesus didn't have to exist in order for those stories to be
So
to
you
be
don't
written.
think he existed?
So you think that a bunch of people
I think it. I didn't say he doesn't exist. I'm saying he most likely didn't exist.
Okay.
Because people had reason to make him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be said about a lot of different things.
Yeah, well, you could, but we're just talking about the Jesus thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never had anyone have that take before.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not jumping on board with the crowd, and I don't go against the crowd just to go against the crowd. I go by what's reasonable. And even if he did exist, there's no reason to think he was anything more than a man. And people still believe in a God, and they can't even define what it is. So it just makes no sense. Because that's why I don't join. That's why, I care too much about.
Have you always been atheist?
Always been atheist.
Okay. Were your parents atheists?
Yes, they were. I have a brother who believes in some weird stuff.
What do you mean by that?
I think that he believes in the whole Jesus God thing, but he thinks that we didn't have, really weird. He thinks we didn't have morality until Jesus came, which made no sense because religion takes morality from the populace, inserts it into his writings, and tries to take credit for it.
So how did he come to that conclusion?
I don't know. I never delved that deep into his brain because I just don't. I have a hard time really. I mean,
How do we know that someone back then just didn't feel like
when people don't think reasonably,
like
a lot of red flags come up in my head. It's just hard for me to. If someone can't explain themselves or something clearly, but they believe in it, there's something wrong, right?
I don't know if it's wrong.
Well, we should believe in stuff only in stuff we know, we understand, or we know exists, right? Like I know that this seat is here. I can tell you about it. When I say this seat is real, it makes sense for me to say that. But when someone says they believe in a God, it's like, can they even define it? It's like, what is a God? They don't even know. So do they really believe in a God if they can't define it? Or they just believe in an idea of a God?
Do you, this is a personal question,
Sure.
do you find yourself in life often really frustrated by just society in general when it comes to religion and the fact that so many people are bought in and you're not?
Well, I think a lot more people are becoming or remaining non-religious or coming back to without religion.
Why do you think that that's the case at this point in time now?
Well, the latest census, I think, put non-religious around, I think, 40% here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's really growing.
And
Because
you think that's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing because I think truth matters. I think if we're going to solve the real life problems, I think we need to have a firm grasp of reality in order to do that.
But we also see with, people claiming that their religious declining, we've also seen an increase in, disregard for morality and really good values. What do you think?
I think that people are becoming more moral as time goes on. I think what we see. I think the reason why people might think that is because we have access to more news and information today than we did before.
Okay.
But I think there's less wars, less killing now than there ever has been in the past.
Sure.
So I don't think they're becoming less; they're becoming more. I think we're really focusing on the negatives, and that brings news, and that's what people read.
Yeah.
And that influences their.
So the news is making people have less.
The news is really, especially mainstream news, it really pins people against other people in order to, make us probably my guess is make us not focus on the bigger issues.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Because I mean, me personally,
CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they're all crap. They're all trying to give their narrative.
Yeah.
They don't
and
really
they're all
give
really
the
funded
truth.
by the same people too.
Yeah, they're what?
They're funded by the same people.
Yeah, and it's like they're trying to get us against each other, so we don't say, hey, we need medical insurance for all. Why don't we have that? No, this black person here got killed by this cop, and it's really horrible. I'm like, what about the shooter that wasn't white? Oh, we won't mention that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
or
Like the
no,
Kansas
you
City
should
shooting.
worry about this, and
Yeah.
they say things that influence you and get you on their side and get all fired up. It sucks. Sorry, you were talking about something?
No, I don't. I mean, just in my lifetime and my experience and everything, like I've always been Christian, and I've always, learned a lot from the teachings.
But your
that are
parents
in the
were, right?
Bible.
Your parents were.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why you are. If you were born in a different country, like Afghanistan or something like that, you'd
Sure.
probably be Muslim.
Yeah.
So
And same with you. I mean, your parents were atheists, so naturally.
maybe.
You were atheist.
I'm very technical based, though. My brain works a certain way. So, there are atheists in even the most Muslim countries, but they just don't let the presence be known.
And you'd probably say, I have a personal relationship with Jesus through prayer and everything like that.
If I was
and I've seen
delusional.
and I've seen a lot of, I've seen that faith and commitment to Him and to God play out in my life.
But that's
multiple
just
ways,
your
but
interpretation.
but you would say that's my interpretation.
Exactly.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with me
There is.
believing that.
There is something wrong with that.
No.
Yes, there is.
No, 'cause
Yes, there definitely is.
If I believe I'm a better person for believing in,
You
and-
believe
and-
you are, but that was an irrational belief.
I don't think so. I mean, if I'm doing my very best to be my very
Yeah,
best,
but how you're
self and
doing
have the
has
morality
nothing
and
to
the
do.
values.
Right, but how you're doing
and-
that? But how you're doing has nothing to do with the validity of the claim. Right? If
No,
your life
to
is
you,
great.
to you it doesn't.
No. Anyone. If you think your life is better, it has nothing to do with whether God exists or not. The important thing is it true that God exists? Is it true? It doesn't matter how your life is. Is it true? That's what we should focus on. If it's not true, we should get rid of it. There are other ways.
That's why faith is so great.
There are other ways.
Because
No. There
I'm
are.
putting my faith and trust.
But there are other ways of gaining morality and things of that nature
What?
and purpose
Which
than having imaginary friends and following some old group.
What other ways?
There's therapy, there's hobbies, there's there's self-reflection, there's goals, meaning, and meaning has to do with yourself. You decide the meaning in life. There's no universal meaning
You
to
don't
life.
think that's pretty arrogant?
No,
think that way?
no, because meaning by definition is what each person thinks. So you decide what the meaning. There is no universal meaning. You decide it.
Okay. That's probably why we have a lot of problems with.
Because you
with
think
this
the
type
meaning
of
comes
stuff.
from this thing.
That's probably why we have a lot of problems with the transgender movement and
Yeah.
everything like that. Is everybody's developed their own truth.
Well, all these
And everybody's
lefties,
developed their own.
all these lefties think that being offended is something that you shouldn't allow to happen to them.
Well, they also want everyone to live in their personal delusion.
Right? Yeah, they do. Right? Yeah. But the
So that
Christians
kind of
the
fits
Christians want everyone to live in a delusion too. They want everyone to believe in a God. They would rather have everyone believe in a God.
But look at the two different sections of society. You have,
Well, the trans hasn't gone killing people. The Christians have.
well, actually, trans have been killing people
Well,
with all the mass
Not as
shootings.
much as Christians.
Well, sure. I mean, they haven't been around as
Right.
as popularized as Christianity.
I just think it's a phase. I think it'll dwindle away. I think eventually we'll return to, because all these companies are now getting rid of their woke people. They're failing. They're losing money, and since we're a capitalist country, eventually the woke will be driven out and said, no, we don't want you. We want money instead, and then they'll be put on the down low.
Because that's honestly
That's the only way to defeat them.
that's the modern God to most people, especially in America.
Well, I wouldn't really
is
call it
money,
a God.
Is money. I'm saying like people worship
It's important,
money.
but I wouldn't use the word God for it,
Well,
because there's so many other.
but you don't believe in God, so who cares whether I use the word God?
Well, because I see the word God as someone thinking some sort of creator of everything and some being that they can't define. And so when you talk about money being God, it's not the same thing, and it's kind of just weird.
Okay. Well, what do you do? Why you got?
I work
cams
IT.
And
I work IT,
you just ride around and talk to people.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. get an idea. I gotta go get some coffee.
How long did it take you to learn how to ride that thing?
It took me, well, it depends on my proficiency level.
Okay.
To be very proficient, about a year, maybe a year and a half.
Okay.
But just to ride it and turn, maybe a few weeks. But to turn and not have to worry about anything, a few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starbucks, like, are you gonna be mad when you sit in the apartment in the morning?
What was your name?
What's that? I pay. I charge money.
I charge $100 to take pictures, so it's a freebie.
So you pay me $100, I'll just take a picture. You can look at these on YouTube. Just type in EUC. Well, I'm about to go get coffee, so maybe you get really lucky and you'll see this. You'll see this, creature in action. All right, man. All right.
God bless you.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna pray for you.
So you're gonna talk to yourself and speak to your imaginary friend in the sky, and you think that's gonna do something?
I'm gonna pray for you.
Okay.
You talk to yourself too. I know you do. You said you like therapy.
That's
And
not
you
talking
like
about. That's talking to a
reflection
counselor.
and meditation.
Meditation is talking to yourself.
Well, I'm sure you got some thoughts in there.
Not just free talking, it's just going over things. Trying to get those out.
You never like you're alone and you stub your toe and you go, damn it.
It's not in the same car pretending to speak to an imaginary friend. But seriously, dude, it's worth looking into.
I'll tell you this.
Listen, beliefs are determined. Hold on. Beliefs are determined by how well educated you are. Decide your response to the conscious about this
Switching up in our.
more you'll realize.
You know what's really interesting to me though is like every atheist that I've ever talked to always acts like they have it all figured out.
Oh, I don't have everything figured out.
They're
No.
superior with their knowledge and their understanding of the world.
Only in this avenue, only in this realm when it comes to God. I don't know. There's some things I know a lot about. There's a few things I know quite a little bit about. There's a lot of things I don't know anything about. So, but there's a few things I do know a lot about. One of them is religion.
Yeah, they always say that.
One of them is religion. Because I like to discuss the topic, and I've done it so many times. But that doesn't mean that anything I'm saying is fallacious. If not, I should be a scholar on it. As long as I'm saying something that makes sense, then that's what matters. It doesn't matter. But seriously, the more you educate yourself, the more that you'll learn. Because truth matters. But see, religion likes to use the word truth. It's still a pretty word. And they like to use it because they know people want truth. So they use it in their full sermons and everything.
Whatever. I mean,
They like to use it, but they don't have it.
that's used in every walk of life.
We should only be using it when we're actually talking about the truth. We're trying to obtain the truth.
Your truth.
No. Truth is the same for everybody, not just for me. Something either exists or doesn't. Like this God, it either exists or doesn't. For everybody, not just for me. If someone says, "Well, he's real for me," I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way because we all live in the same reality.
Yeah, we have like the president last year. He like yeah.
All right, buddy. All right.
And then
What's this about? Is it? Did you lose a bet?
No, this is the student government. This is
Yeah, I lost a bet.
Oh no.
See you later.